Hi, I'm Amelia, and I help you make better money moves. On this channel, we break down finance into simple, practical steps so you can grow your money with confidence. What if the real reason most people never build wealth is not because they don't have money, but because they keep waiting for the perfect time to start? I'll invest when I have more. That one sentence doesn't just delay your money, it steals your time. And in investing, time is everything. Let's be real for a second. Most people don't avoid investing because they're lazy. They avoid it because it feels confusing, overwhelming, even intimidating. You hear words like ETFs, index funds, Roth IRA, and it feels like everyone else understands something you don't. So you hesitate, you wait, you overthink, and slowly, years pass. In this video, I'm going to show you a simple, real, step-by-step way to start investing in 2026, even if you feel completely lost right now. No hype, no get rich quick. Just a system that actually works. What investing really is. Let's clear something up. Investing is not gambling. It's not guessing. It's not chasing trends at 2 a.m. Real investing is simple. It's putting your money into things that grow, so your money starts working, instead of just sitting. That's it. But here's where it gets powerful. Over time, your money doesn't just grow, it grows on top of its own growth. That's compounding. And this is where everything changes. Because suddenly, it's not about how much you start with, it's about how early you start. The real beginner, female character. Let me simplify this with a real kind of person. Let's call her Emily. Emily is 25. She works a normal job, pays bills, sometimes saves, sometimes doesn't. She's not irresponsible. She's just overwhelmed. She thinks investing is complicated. She thinks she needs thousands of dollars. She's scared of messing up. So she does what most people do. Nothing. Not because she can't start, but because she doesn't know how. And that's the real problem. Not money. Not intelligence. Clarity. Before you invest anything, most videos skip this. They jump straight into buy this and open that. But real investing doesn't start with money. It starts with stability. Step 1. Know your reason. Why are you investing? If you don't know, you'll quit the moment things get hard. Emily realized something simple. I don't want to be the same financially in 10 years. That became her anchor. Step 2. Build a safety net. Life happens. If every emergency forces you to sell your investments, you're not investing. You're surviving. So build breathing room first. Even a small emergency fund changes everything. Step 3. Handle high-interest debt. This is uncomfortable, but real. If your debt is growing faster than your investments, you're moving backwards. Fix the leak before you fill the bucket. Understanding risk. Real talk. Most people think risk means losing money, but real risk is deeper. It's not knowing what you're doing. It's panicking at the worst moment. It's copying someone else's strategy without understanding it. Here's the truth. The best investment is not the one with the highest return. It's the one you can stick with when things go bad. Because they will. The simple roadmap. Now let's make this practical. Step 1. Choose the right account. Think of it like this. The account is the container. The investment is what goes inside it. Don't confuse the two. Step 2. Use a trusted platform. You don't need the flashiest app. You need something simple, reliable, and low cost. Step 3. Start with diversification. This is where most people get it wrong. They want the one stock. But beginners don't need excitement. They need stability. Spread your money, reduce your risk, think long-term. That's how you stay in the game. Why small fees matter. This sounds boring, but it's powerful. Tiny fees, over years, can quietly destroy your returns. So always ask, what am I paying? Because if you don't know, you're probably overpaying. The secret most people miss. This is the real advantage. Not intelligence, not timing, consistency. The people who win don't win because they're smarter. They win because because they keep going. So automate it. Set it once, let it run. Because relying on motivation is a losing strategy. What should you buy? Here's the honest answer. It depends. But for beginners, you don't need complexity. You need simplicity. Broad, diversified investments. Low cost. Long-term focus. Your first goal is not to be impressive. It's to be consistent. The emotional truth. Let's go deeper. Investing isn't just financial. It's emotional. Fear, doubt, regret. You'll feel all of it. Emily's biggest fear wasn't losing money. It was feeling stupid, and that's what keeps most people stuck. So she changed her mindset. She stopped trying to be perfect and started touching the invisible habit loop. Something subtle begins to happen the moment Emily commits, not externally, internally. At first, it's just an action, a small transfer, a simple decision, but then it becomes a pattern. At the same time, same process, same quiet moment of discipline, and slowly, without her noticing, she stops negotiating with herself. There's no more. Should I invest this month? Maybe I'll wait. That conversation disappears because the decision was already made. And this is where most people misunderstand growth. They think success comes from intensity. But real change? It comes from removing the need to make a decision. Because every decision drains energy. Every hesitation creates friction. Emily didn't become better at investing. She became someone who no longer questions it. The identity shift. There's a moment that doesn't look important, but it changes everything. It's not when her portfolio grows, not when she sees profits. It's when she introduces herself differently, not out loud, but internally. She no longer thinks, I'm trying to invest. She thinks, I'm someone who invests. That shift is quiet, invisible, but it rewires behavior. Because once something becomes part of your identity, consistency stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like alignment. Most people never reach this point because they quit before identity catches up with action. Emily didn't wait to feel ready. She acted until it felt natural. Time starts to feel different before investing. Time felt slow. Paycheck to paycheck, month to month. Everything was short-term. But now, time stretches. Not because life changed overnight, but because direction did. Emily stops thinking about next week and starts thinking about the next decade. And when that happens, small actions gain weight because they're no longer isolated. They're connected to something bigger. Every deposit becomes a signal. I'm building something. Not today, but inevitably. The first real test. And then, it happens. The moment every investor faces. The screen turns red. Not slightly. Noticeably. Numbers drop. Her portfolio shrinks. Not dramatically enough to panic, but enough to feel. And this is where theory meets reality. Because it's easy to say, stay calm, until it's your money. Emily feels it, that tension in her chest, that urge to check constantly, that quiet voice asking, did I make a mistake? But something is different now. She doesn't react immediately. She pauses. Not out of confidence, but because she has a system, and systems slow emotion down. So instead of selling, she does something unexpected. Nothing. And in that moment, she passes the test that most people fail. The power of doing nothing. This might be the most misunderstood skill in investing. Not buying, not selling, doing nothing. Because in a world that rewards action, stillness feels wrong. But markets don't reward movement, they reward discipline. Emily begins to understand something deeper. Not every situation requires a response. Sometimes the smartest move is to stay exactly where you are. And that realization, it removes a massive burden. Because now she's not reacting to the market, she's operating above it. Complexity collapses. At the beginning, everything felt complicated. Charts, indicators, opinions, noise everywhere. But now, things simplify. Not because the market got easier, but because her approach became clearer. She no longer chases information. She filters it. She no longer reacts to headlines. She ignores them. Because she realizes most information is designed to trigger action, not improve outcomes. And once you see that, you stop consuming everything and start protecting your focus. The mental edge. This is where the real advantage lives. Not in strategy, not in timing, in emotional control, because markets will always fluctuate. But your response? That's where outcomes are decided. Emily isn't fearless. She still feels uncertainty. But she no longer lets it dictate behavior. And that's the difference. Because investing isn't about eliminating emotion. It's about not obeying it. Momentum without noise. Something begins to build, quietly. Not viral, not dramatic. Momentum, not in the market, in her behavior. Months pass, deposits continue. No big wins, no big losses, just movement. And this is the part nobody celebrates. Because it's not exciting, but it's where everything compounds. Not just money, identity, confidence, clarity, and over time, those become more valuable than returns. One day, Emily looks at her account, not for validation, not for excitement, just out of routine. And she notices something subtle. It's not the number, it's the stability. For the first time, her financial life doesn't feel fragile. There's structure, there's direction, there's control, and that's when it hits her. She didn't just build an investment portfolio, she built a system that protects her future self, and that's the real win. So if you're watching this, and you're still waiting to feel ready, understand this. Readiness is not a requirement, it's a byproduct. Clarity comes after action, confidence comes after repetition, and stability comes after consistency. Not before. You don't need to transform your life overnight. You just need to interrupt the pattern of waiting. Because the cost isn't just time, it's the version of your life that never gets built. So here's what I want you to do. Not tomorrow. Not when things settle. Right now, decide what your first step is, not the perfect step, the real one, and make it visible. Comment on it, not for validation, but for commitment. Because once you say it, you're no longer thinking about change. You're stepping into it. And if you want more content that doesn't just inform you, but reshapes how you think about money, discipline, and long-term growth, subscribe. Because this isn't about investing. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't need to be told twice.